Why would a man who already has a wife or girlfriend still seek another woman? At first glance, it seems simple: lust, selfishness, temptation. But if you've ever been in this situation, you know it feels more complicated. He may act genuinely, drawn to you, even torn inside, yet he stays where he is. So what is happening beneath the surface? Is it really about you? Is it about his partner? Or is it something much deeper, a conflict hidden in his unconscious mind? This isn't only about cheating. Human behavior is rarely that simple. Many times, it is a struggle between the life he shows the world and the desires he keeps in the dark. Psychology teaches us that unresolved wounds, hidden fears, and unclaimed parts of the self can push people into choices they don't fully understand. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden reasons why a committed man may still chase someone else, and why the truth is never as straightforward as it seems. The hidden shadow. Every human being carries two sides within: the face we show to the world and the one we hide in silence. Jung called this hidden part the shadow. It is the collection of desires, fears, weaknesses, and impulses we deny, because they do not fit the image we want others to see. For a man who already has a wife or a girlfriend, the shadow often grows louder. The more he tries to live as the perfect partner, the more pressure builds inside, and the more the shadow demands expression. When he seeks you, it is not simply because he is bored or because he wants excitement. It is the shadow reaching out. He may not even understand it himself. On the surface, he can say he loves his partner. He can show loyalty in public. He can play the role society approves. But inside there is another current flowing, one he does not control. And when he meets someone who awakens that hidden side, the shadow pushes forward with force. The shadow does not ask for permission. It moves beneath reason. It does not respect commitments or promises. It is the raw energy of everything denied. For some men, this may mean suppressed desire. For others, it may be the longing for freedom, adventure, or validation they no longer feel in their current life. Whatever form it takes, the shadow does not disappear just because he says, "I am committed." The more he pushes it down, the stronger it returns. This is why his pursuit of you feels confusing. He may tell you with one breath that he cannot, that he shouldn't, that he is taken. And yet, with the next, he looks for you again. This contradiction is not rational. It is psychological. It is the war between the persona, the mask he wears for the world, and the shadow, the truth he cannot silence. Jung believed that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our lives, and we will call it fate. This is exactly what happens here. He thinks his desire is fate. He thinks meeting you is destiny. But in reality, it is his own unconscious pulling him toward what he has denied. The shadow is not romantic, but it feels powerful, because it carries energy he has never integrated. And here lies the danger. When someone acts out of shadow, they are not free. They are not choosing with clarity. They are being pulled by what they refuse to face inside. So when a man with a wife or girlfriend still seeks you, it is less about love and more about his inability to reconcile with himself. You become the mirror of his hidden part, the part he cannot show in his official life. But here is the paradox. The shadow is not evil. It is not something to fear. It is simply the unowned part of the self. When integrated, it can bring balance, truth, and even deeper love. But when denied, it leaks out in ways that break trust and create chaos. His pursuit of you is one of those leaks, a symptom of what he has not yet faced. This is why you must be careful. The attention may feel intense, the connection may feel electric, but remember, you are dealing with the energy of repression, not the calmness of love. The intensity comes from what is forbidden, from what is secret. It is the shadow, dressed as desire. Understanding this gives you power. Instead of asking, "Why does he want me if he is taken?" you begin to see the deeper truth. He wants me because I awaken the part of him he hides. It is not about you being less or more than his partner. It is about you being the reflection of what he cannot integrate. The hidden shadow explains why even the most loyal-looking man can cross boundaries. It explains why he feels torn, why he says one thing and does another. He is not simply lying. He is divided. His persona belongs to his partner, but his shadow has found its mirror in you. And until he confronts it, he will continue to live this double life. Jung taught that wholeness is not found by rejecting the shadow but by embracing it consciously. For the man who seeks you despite being taken, this would mean admitting his desires, his fears, his emptiness. It would mean facing himself honestly instead of hiding behind games. But most players in this situation are not ready for that. They prefer the secret pursuit because it lets them taste the shadow without owning it. For you, the lesson is to see clearly. Do not mistake his pursuit for proof of deep love. Do not confuse intensity with destiny. Recognize the shadow for what it is, the unspoken side of his psyche reaching for light. When you understand this, you no longer get trapped in his confusion. You stand apart, aware of the psychology at play. The hidden shadow is not about romance. It is about truth. And the truth is this: if he has a wife or girlfriend and still seeks you, he is not simply choosing you. He is revealing himself. What he cannot face in his own life, he is trying to play out through you. And unless he becomes conscious of it, the cycle will never end. The illusion of commitment. On the outside, everything looks complete. He has a partner. He wears the role of loyalty. He speaks about responsibility. To the world, he seems settled. This is the picture of commitment: steady, trustworthy, untouchable. But often what looks whole on the surface hides cracks underneath. And those cracks are what make him seek something outside the frame he shows. Commitment is more than wearing a ring or calling someone your partner. True commitment is consistency between what you show and what you feel. It is alignment between your actions and your words. Many men confuse the appearance of commitment with the reality of it. They stay because it is expected. They stay because it is safe. They stay because breaking it would bring judgment. But inside, something does not match. And when the inside and outside do not match, a gap opens. That gap is where temptation lives. The illusion of commitment is powerful because society rewards appearances. A man with a wife or girlfriend is praised for stability. He looks responsible, reliable, mature. But when his actions tell a different story, when he continues to seek someone else, the mask slips. What looked like stability is only performance. What looked like maturity is only routine. This does not always mean he does not care for his partner. It means he is divided. He may genuinely want the comfort of stability and, at the same time, crave the thrill of what feels new. He may enjoy being seen as responsible while secretly chasing freedom. The contradiction does not erase his role, but it does reveal the illusion. Commitment that exists only on paper or only in appearances is not real commitment. When he seeks you despite having someone else, what you are seeing is this division. The mask of responsibility remains on, but the desire underneath breaks through. He may say he is committed, but his actions expose the gap, and actions reveal truth more clearly than words. The illusion is not only his, it can also trap you. You may believe that if he has chosen someone else, his bond must be stronger. You may think his pursuit of you is proof of passion because he risks his stability for it. But the truth is simpler. He is not risking everything for love. He is chasing what fills the gap his commitment does not cover. This is why his attention feels intense but unstable. One day he seeks you. The next, he retreats into his role. Back and forth he moves between the mask of loyalty and the hunger for freedom. And if you are not careful, you can become part of this back and forth, mistaking his conflict for depth. But it is not depth, it is division. True commitment does not waver like this. True commitment does not live in two directions at once. It is steady, consistent, aligned. The illusion of commitment pretends to be the same, but it cracks under pressure. It cannot stand the weight of desire because it was never solid to begin with. The challenge is not to judge but to see clearly. Many people live in illusions, not because they plan to deceive but because they fear the truth. Facing emptiness at home is hard. Facing the end of a relationship is harder. So they cover the cracks with appearances, hoping no one notices. But the cracks always show, especially when they reach for someone outside. This illusion explains why you may feel both chosen and hidden at the same time. Chosen, because he comes to you despite his role. Hidden, because he cannot bring that choice into the light. You are not in competition with his partner. You are in conflict with the gap between his mask and his truth. And that is a conflict. No one wins until he faces it himself. Commitment is not words. It is not titles. It is not pictures. Commitment is action aligned with truth. When a man has a wife or girlfriend and still seeks you, he reveals that his so-called commitment is only partial. It is an image maintained for the world, not a reality lived within. The illusion of commitment is powerful because it convinces even him. He may believe he is loyal because he stays at home. He may believe he is faithful because he fulfills responsibilities. But if his actions keep reaching beyond, he is not whole. And without wholeness, no commitment can last. Seeing this illusion frees you from confusion. You no longer have to ask, "Why me?" The answer is not about you replacing anyone. It is about him living divided. His pursuit is not proof of your worth or his partner's lack. It is proof of his own fracture. The question is not whether he is committed. The question is whether his commitment is real or only performance. And when performance replaces truth, the mask always falls. It may take time. It may take pressure. But eventually, illusion cannot stand. And this is where clarity becomes power. You see the difference between a man who plays the role of commitment and a man who lives it. You stop confusing appearances with reality, and you protect yourself from being trapped in the cracks of someone else's division. Sometimes what feels like chaos in love is really a mirror of what's hidden inside us. If you want to explore those patterns more deeply, the Jung method can guide you gently. The link is in the first pinned comment. The ego's secret hunger. Beneath every choice he makes, behind every risk he takes, lies a hunger that rarely speaks its name. It is not love. It is not passion. It is the ego searching for food. A man with a wife or girlfriend who still seeks you is often acting from this hidden place. His life may look full, but his ego whispers that it is not enough. And that whisper becomes louder every time he feels unseen, unappreciated, or ordinary. The ego is fragile. It constantly asks questions. Am I still desirable? Do I still have power? Can I still attract? When those questions go unanswered in his daily life, he begins to look outside for proof. This is where you come in. Not because you are less or more than his partner, but because you become the mirror reflecting back the image he wants to see. The hunger of the ego is not satisfied by stability. Stability may be safe, but it does not feed the craving for validation. The man may have a partner who supports him, who shares life with him, but if the ego feels ignored, it starts to demand attention elsewhere. The ego does not care about promises or responsibilities. It only cares about feeling important, admired, wanted. This is why his pursuit of you often feels intense. He pours energy into it because it gives him something he misses, the spark of being desired. But the intensity is not about love, it is about reassurance. Every compliment you give, every glance you return, every moment of attention becomes food for the ego, and the more he tastes it, the hungrier he becomes. The secret hunger of the ego is endless. No matter how much attention it receives, it always wants more. This is why even when he has someone by his side, he still looks for someone else. It is not because his partner failed. It is because his ego cannot be fully satisfied from within. It relies on constant outside confirmation, and when that fades, he seeks a new source. This hunger creates confusion. To you, it may look like deep attraction. You may feel chosen, special, even powerful. But the truth is less romantic. He is not choosing you because of who you are. He is choosing you because of what you reflect. You reflect his worth back to him. You prove in his mind that he is still desirable, still strong, still capable of drawing attention. The ego is like a mirror that always needs polishing. The moment it feels dull, it looks for another reflection to shine on it. And because you are outside his stable life, you carry the aura of the forbidden. That makes your attention even more valuable to him. The hunger grows, and the pursuit becomes harder for him to resist. But here lies the trap. If you confuse his hunger for love, you risk falling into a cycle that was never about you. The attention feels strong, but it is not steady. The connection feels electric, but it is not safe. The more you give, the more his ego feeds, and the less real intimacy there is. Because intimacy cannot grow where ego rules. Intimacy requires honesty. Ego requires performance. The ego's secret hunger also explains his contradictions. He may say he is happy in his relationship, yet still reach for you. He may say he cannot risk everything, yet risk enough to chase. These contradictions are not logical. They are emotional. The ego wants constant proof. It does not matter if the proof contradicts his words. As long as he feels admired, the hunger is fed. Understanding this truth protects you. It allows you to step back and see clearly. You stop asking, why me, why now, why him? The answer is simple. His ego needed food and you were close enough to provide it. This does not make you less. It does not make you guilty. It makes you aware. And awareness is the first step to freedom. The ego's hunger is not your responsibility to satisfy. It is his to face. Until he learns to find worth from within, he will continue to seek it outside. No amount of attention will fill the emptiness because the emptiness comes from within. And until he faces it, the hunger will never stop. For you, the choice is clarity. Do you want to feed a cycle that never ends? Or do you want to step out and protect your own worth? Because your value is not in how much you can reassure someone else's ego. Your value is in standing whole, whether or not anyone else notices. The ego's secret hunger is powerful, but it is also shallow. It does not see the depth of who you are. It sees only the reflection it craves. Once you understand this, you no longer confuse his pursuit with true connection. You recognize it for what it is, a search for validation, not a declaration of love. And that recognition frees you from the illusion. Why forbidden feels stronger. There is something about what is forbidden that makes it feel more powerful than what is allowed. A man who already has a wife or girlfriend may seem steady, but when he crosses the line and seeks someone else, the emotions feel heavier, sharper, and more unforgettable. The reason is not that love is deeper in these situations. It is because what is hidden often feels stronger than what is free. The human mind reacts to scarcity. What we cannot easily have becomes more valuable. When something is forbidden, it carries a sense of risk. That risk triggers adrenaline, heightens awareness, and intensifies desire. It is not love that makes it feel electric. It is the danger of the boundary being crossed. The very fact that it is not supposed to happen gives it weight in the imagination. For the man who seeks outside his relationship, this forbidden space becomes an escape. It allows him to feel alive in ways he may not feel in daily life. Routine creates safety, but it also creates numbness. When he steps into the forbidden, he feels that numbness break. The rush is not about the person he seeks, but about the rule being broken. The rule is what creates the fire. For the one being sought, the feeling can be just as intense. Being chosen when he is already taken can seem like proof of uniqueness, as if you have something no one else can reach. But that is the illusion of the forbidden. The intensity comes not from deeper love, but from secrecy. The secrecy acts like a veil, covering reality and amplifying desire. The forbidden also feeds on imagination. Because it cannot fully exist in the open, it lives mostly in the mind. Fantasies grow stronger than facts. What could be becomes more exciting than what is. The distance, the pauses, the secrecy, they all add to the sense of urgency. But this urgency is not built on connection. It is built on limitation. This is why forbidden love often burns fast. It feels overwhelming at the start, but it rarely builds a steady foundation. The thrill is tied to the risk. When the risk fades, the thrill fades too. The intensity cannot last because it was never based on truth. It was based on breaking rules. Yet the question remains, why do people confuse this intensity with something deeper? The answer lies in how the mind processes emotion. Intensity feels meaningful. Strong emotions trick us into believing something profound must be happening. But strong emotion is not always proof of depth. Sometimes it is only proof of tension. The forbidden creates constant tension, and the body interprets that tension as passion. Understanding this distinction is crucial. If a man with a wife or girlfriend seeks you, the intensity you feel is not a sign of destiny. It is a sign of secrecy. It is the mind responding to the rush of crossing a boundary. Once you see it for what it is, you can separate truth from illusion. Forbidden desire also exposes something about human nature. People often want what they cannot fully claim. This does not mean the desire is fake, but it does mean it is complicated. The man may feel drawn to you, but that draw does not erase his existing life. It does not replace his responsibilities. The forbidden does not solve emptiness. It only distracts from it. The strength of the forbidden fades once it is brought into the light. When secrets become ordinary, the magic disappears. What once felt irresistible begins to look like any other relationship, with all its flaws and challenges. This is why many forbidden pursuits collapse when exposed. The very thing that made it powerful, the secrecy, is gone. For you, this truth is protection. You no longer need to question your worth against his partner. You no longer need to compare yourself. The reason it feels strong is not because you are lacking or because she is lacking. It feels strong because it is hidden. Secrecy feeds the fire. Without secrecy, the fire dims. So when you feel the weight of forbidden desire, pause. Ask yourself, is this love, or is this the thrill of crossing lines? Is this truth, or is this the shadow of what cannot be spoken? The answers bring clarity. They free you from mistaking intensity for destiny. The forbidden will always carry an illusion of strength. But real love does not need secrecy to survive. Real love shines in the open. It grows in freedom, not in hiding. The more you understand this, the less power the forbidden has over you. And once you see it clearly, you realize the strongest thing is not what is hidden. The strongest thing is what can stand in the light without fear. Projection and desire. When a man already in a relationship still seeks someone else, it is rarely about the person he is chasing. Most of the time, it is about projection. Projection means taking what is inside and placing it onto another. The mind does this unconsciously, without permission. He may see qualities in you that are real, but most of what he feels is his own desire reflected back. Projection is powerful because it makes the ordinary look extraordinary. A simple glance, a word, or even silence becomes charged with meaning. He believes you carry what he lacks. If he feels unappreciated at home, he projects admiration onto you. If he feels bored, he projects excitement onto you. If he feels unseen, he projects light onto you. In his mind, you become the answer, not because you are his solution, but because he cannot face the emptiness inside. This explains why his desire seems so intense. It is not built on who you truly are. It is built on what he needs you to represent. He does not just want you. He wants the version of himself he sees, reflected in your presence. You make him feel powerful again. You make him feel wanted again. You make him feel alive again. The desire is real, but the source of it is not you alone. It is the image he has created through projection. Projection also explains his contradictions. He may tell you that you are special, unforgettable, even essential. But at the same time, he does not leave his relationship. Why? Because what he seeks in you is not about replacing one partner with another. It is about filling an inner gap. You cannot replace that gap because it lives inside him. The desire he feels is a mirror of his own unmet needs. The problem with projection is that it is temporary. Once reality breaks through, the image fades. What seemed magical becomes ordinary, and the intensity collapses. This is why many affairs feel overwhelming at first but lose strength over time. The projection cannot last forever. Reality always arrives, and with it, the truth. Desire built on projection is not stable. It rises quickly, fueled by fantasy, and falls just as quickly when confronted with fact. He may think you are the perfect answer, but what he truly desires is not you. It is the feeling you awaken, and feelings can change. They change when the mirror no longer reflects what he wants to see. Understanding this helps you protect yourself. If a man with a wife or girlfriend seeks you, you must ask, is he seeing me or is he seeing himself in me? Is this about who I am or about what he wants me to symbolize? The difference is everything. When you see projection clearly, you stop confusing desire with love. True love requires seeing the other person as they are, not as a projection. It requires patience, respect, and honesty. But projection demands none of these. It demands only fantasy. That is why it feels lighter, easier, more thrilling. It does not require the work of real intimacy. It only requires imagination. And imagination, when unchecked, can be very convincing. The desire created by projection can be flattering. It can make you feel chosen, unique, powerful. But it is dangerous because it ties your worth to his fantasy. You risk becoming only the reflection he needs, not the person you truly are. And when the fantasy fades, the connection fades with it. Projection also keeps him trapped. As long as he projects, he avoids facing himself. He avoids asking the harder questions. Why do I feel empty? Why do I crave more attention? Why am I not satisfied where I am? Instead of facing those truths, he looks outside and attaches them to you. But the answers are not outside. They live within. Desire fueled by projection will always disappoint because it is chasing something that does not exist. You cannot be his missing piece. No one can. The missing piece is his own awareness. Until he faces it, he will continue to project onto others, always chasing, never satisfied. So when he looks at you with intensity, remember, much of what he sees is not about you. It is about him, his hunger, his emptiness, his longing. They are all being placed onto your image. And while it may feel powerful, it is not real connection. It is reflection. The lesson here is to stand firm in your truth. Do not let his projection define you. Do not let his desire confuse you. See clearly. He is not choosing you above all else. He is using you to see himself more clearly, even if he does not realize it. And once you know this, you can step aside from the illusion. Projection makes desire look stronger than it is, but once the mirror is gone, the desire fades. Real love does not need mirrors. Real love sees the whole person and accepts them fully. Anything less is not love. It is only projection, pretending to be love. The mask. He shows the world. Every man wears a mask. It is the image he builds to be accepted, respected, and admired by others. For a man who has a wife or girlfriend, that mask is even more polished. He wants to be seen as loyal, stable, and trustworthy. To the world, he plays the role of the good partner. He may smile in photos, speak proudly of his relationship, and present himself as committed. But behind the mask, another story often unfolds. The mask is not always a lie. It can be partly true. He may genuinely care for his partner, and he may take his responsibilities seriously. Yet the mask hides what he cannot reveal: his doubts, his dissatisfaction, his cravings for freedom or recognition. The mask is designed to protect him from judgment. It keeps his reputation safe, even when his actions do not fully match his image. When he seeks you, he is stepping out of that mask. In public, he is the loyal man. In private, he is divided. The mask tells one truth. His desires tell another. This split creates tension, but it also gives him the thrill of living two lives. One life is the mask shown to the world. The other is the hidden self, shown only in secrecy. The mask works because people want to believe it. Society rewards images. If he looks like the ideal partner, few will question him. His friends may admire him, his family may trust him, and even his partner may ignore small signs to maintain the picture. But the truth behind the mask never disappears. It only hides until it finds a way out. The danger of the mask is that it becomes addictive. Once a man learns he can keep two realities, one public, one private, and he feels powerful. He can enjoy the respect of the world while feeding desires in secret. But this double life always costs him something. It creates division inside. The more he strengthens the mask, the more fragile his hidden self becomes. And eventually, the weight of the contradiction begins to break him. For the one he seeks, the mask can be confusing. You may wonder, if he shows such loyalty in public, why does he come to me in private? The answer lies in the mask itself. The stronger the mask, the stronger the hidden side grows. What he hides does not disappear. It builds pressure. And the more pressure builds, the more urgently he seeks release. That release often comes through pursuit outside his relationship. The mask also explains his secrecy. He cannot show you openly, because to do so would destroy the image he has built. You become part of his hidden world, not because you are less, but because the mask does not allow your existence. His actions are filtered through fear. Fear of being exposed, fear of losing his reputation, fear of cracking the image he protects. This is why his attention may feel intense, yet uncertain. He comes close, then withdraws. He speaks of desire but not of future. He gives pieces of himself but never the whole. He is protecting the mask, and until he chooses to remove it, he cannot give more. Masks are not unique to him. Everyone wears them to some degree. But when the mask becomes the main identity, it suffocates the real self. He begins to live for appearances, forgetting that truth demands honesty. The mask promises safety, but it creates distance. No one can truly know him, because no one can see behind it. The lesson for you is clarity. Do not confuse the mask with the man. What he shows the world is not the full truth. His pursuit of you is not proof that his relationship is broken, nor is it proof of your power. It is proof of the split between his public face and his private desires. And until he faces that split, he cannot offer real love. The mask he shows, the world may protect him for now. It may even convince many that his life is perfect. But masks always crack. Sooner or later, reality pushes through. And when it does, the world sees what he has been hiding all along. When obsession replaces love. Love and obsession are not the same, though they often wear a similar face. Love is steady, patient, and rooted in respect. Obsession is restless, urgent, and born from fear. When a man with a wife or girlfriend continues to seek someone else, what often grows inside him is not love, but obsession. And when obsession takes hold, it begins to replace real connection. Obsession is fueled by the mind's constant need for stimulation. The man feels alive in the secrecy, in the chase, in the rush of having something forbidden. Each moment with you becomes magnified, not because it is deeper, but because it is rarer. The scarcity gives it power. He becomes consumed not by who you are, but by the feeling you create inside him. This feeling becomes addictive. Like a flame that burns too quickly, it demands more and more fuel. Love grows in light. It seeks honesty, balance, and growth. Obsession grows in shadow. It hides, it distorts, it feeds on secrecy. At first, the difference may be hard to see. Obsession can feel like passion. It can feel like intensity. But over time, the instability becomes clear. Love steadies the heart. Obsession unsettles it. When obsession replaces love, his actions shift. He begins to think more about the chase than about the person. The excitement of waiting for a reply becomes stronger than the reply itself. The thrill of planning secrecy feels more intoxicating than honesty ever could. His energy is no longer directed toward building something real. It is directed toward keeping the cycle alive. This is why he cannot let go. Even if he says he must stop, even if he knows the risk is too high, the obsession calls him back. It whispers in quiet moments. It returns when he feels ignored. It grows louder every time you step away. The less available you are, the more powerful the obsession becomes. But obsession is unstable. It does not create security. It does not create future. It thrives on tension, and without tension it fades. That is why many men who obsess in secret cannot imagine living the obsession openly. If the secrecy disappeared, so would the fire. What keeps it alive is the imbalance. The danger of obsession is that it blinds him to truth. He convinces himself that the intensity means destiny. He tells himself that because he cannot stop thinking of you, it must be love. But the truth is simpler. Obsession repeats itself in circles, while love moves forward. If he is trapped in repetition, what he feels is not love. It is compulsion. For you, understanding this is vital. If you confuse obsession with love, you risk believing his words without seeing his actions. You may think his constant return is proof of deep connection. But real love does not return only in secret. Real love shows itself fully. Obsession cannot. It hides because it depends on hiding. Obsession also drains him. The more he hides, the more energy he wastes. He becomes restless, suspicious, and divided. His relationship suffers, but so does his sense of self. He no longer acts freely. He acts under the pressure of his own hunger. And the more he feeds it, the less satisfied he feels. Obsession always demands more than it gives. This cycle reveals an important truth. Obsession is about him, not about you. You may feel flattered by the intensity, but the obsession is a reflection of his inner emptiness. He seeks you not to love you, but to fill a void, and that void cannot be filled by anyone outside himself. The shift from love to obsession often happens slowly. At first, he may feel genuine care, but as secrecy deepens, the care turns into compulsion. He no longer asks what is best for you. He only asks how to keep the feeling alive. This is where obsession fully replaces love, and once it does, the relationship becomes unstable, dangerous, and fragile. The lesson here is clarity. Love builds. Obsession consumes. Love honors. Obsession hides. Love grows stronger with time. Obsession weakens the more it is fed. Once you see the difference, you can step out of the illusion. You realize his pursuit is not proof of devotion. It is proof of obsession, and obsession, no matter how intense, is not love. Your power in walking away. The most powerful decision you can make is often the simplest. When a man with a wife or girlfriend seeks you, the game only continues if you allow it. The cycle of secrecy, tension, and intensity survives on your participation. The moment you step out, the entire pattern collapses. Walking away is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Walking away means refusing to be controlled by confusion. It means seeing the truth clearly and choosing peace over chaos. He may believe he has power because he keeps you guessing, but the instant you decide not to play, that power vanishes. His silence loses meaning. His attention loses weight. His return no longer excites. The stage goes dark because you are no longer the audience. The strength of walking away comes from self-respect. It is not about punishing him. It is not about proving a point. It is about honoring your worth. You are not here to be a mirror for his ego, or a secret for his shadow, or a piece in his double life. You are whole, with or without his attention. Once you realize this, you see that staying is not love. It is compromise. And compromise of your dignity is never worth it. For him, your absence is a wound. He thrives on reaction, and when no reaction comes, he is left with himself. That silence is unbearable for someone who lives through validation. He may chase harder, beg, or even return again and again. But the more he tries, the clearer the truth becomes. It was never love pulling him. It was his own emptiness. And Emptiness cannot hold you unless you allow it. Walking away also breaks the illusion of destiny. The intensity may have convinced you this was special, that it meant something beyond ordinary love. But when you step back, you see the pattern for what it is. Repetition of the same hunger, the same projection, the same obsession. Once you leave, the spell is broken. You no longer confuse drama with depth. True power does not scream. It does not chase. It does not beg. It stands calm. Walking away is that calm. It tells him, without words, that you will not trade your freedom for his games. It tells him that you choose clarity over confusion. It tells him that you know your worth cannot be measured by his attention. That message is stronger than any argument, because it cannot be debated. It is final. Walking away is also protection. You protect your heart from being dragged into a cycle that will not give back what you deserve. You protect your mind from being consumed by questions with no answers. You protect your future from being tied to a man who cannot stand in the light. Protection is not rejection of love. It is preparation for the love that is real, the love that comes without masks, without secrets, without shadows. The paradox is that your absence may become his greatest obsession. He will feel the loss because he cannot control it. But that obsession is his to carry, not yours. You are not responsible for his hunger. You are responsible for your own peace. Let him wrestle with his emptiness. Your task is to move forward, into wholeness. Walking away is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of one written on your terms. A story where you are not the secret, but the truth. A story where love is not forbidden, but free. A story where you no longer mistake intensity for destiny, but embrace clarity as the path to real connection. So remember this: when you leave, you do not lose. You gain. You gain freedom, dignity, and strength. You gain the chance to meet love in its true form. And above all, you gain yourself. If this message spoke to you, stay with us. The next videos will take you deeper into the hidden psychology of relationships, into desire, shadow, and the secrets of the heart. Follow along because each step brings more clarity, more power, and more freedom than you ever imagined.